Ndala, 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 ndala. Welcome, 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 welcome back to my channel. So, I wanted to answer a wisdom letter that was sent to me. It was sent to me by the young man in French, and I found it so interesting and so important to discuss this letter with his permission because I thought that his questioning was just something that comes up a lot of times and something that needs to be addressed at some point. I've touched on it in many different ways, but I thought the specific question that was asked and the way it was asked was very important. So this is a letter sent by a very young man, so he's still in his teens, and who was asking about the power of life. And in his question, he was asking whether was it the woman who detains the power of life because she has the womb and she has the egg? Or is it whether the man, because the man has the sperm, which he referred to as the breath of life, meaning that without the sperm there wouldn't be a child. And so his question was to say who between the man and the woman has the power of life. And what struck me the first time is to hear such a deep and so important question coming from such a young man. I was really, really delighted. This is a young person that I've exchanged with, and just to see him on this path at such a young age, this really, really warmed my soul to see that young people are still searching and interested in the deepness of life, in understanding who they are, where their place is in the world, and what they can accomplish. For me, is soul warming. These letters, such as those that he has sent me so far, are the things that motivate me to keep going with the type of work that I do on this channel and with my students. This is the thing that I live for, to ensure that people cultivate their growth, their personal growth, and question things that are around them and said to them, and follow their path. And this question essentially turning around power and the bringing of life. I think I've touched in my channel, for me, the complementarity between men and women is something that's essential, is something that is at the core of every African tradition, of every single indigenous traditions and cultures, because it is at the basis of bringing life to this planet. Okay? And this answers the question, my friend. To me, the power of life does not reside with the man. But the power of life does not reside with the woman either. To me, the power of life only resides with the divine. But the divine can act through us, through a man and a woman coming together for that life to be born through the eggs and the sperm. No matter who you are on this planet, you came from a man and a woman that came together physically or through that biological material. We know nowadays that with technology, all kinds of things are possible. But when we come back to the basics, it's basically saying that you need both a man and a woman for the power of life to manifest. You understand? So the man alone cannot do that. A woman alone cannot do it either. They have to come together in any shape and form in order to do that. And this is why the complementarity between them is essential. This is why you don't have the same way of thinking. This is why you don't have the same way of feeling either, or the same way of expressing yourself. But by interacting with each other, you learn from one another. And when you come together, you have the ability to bring a life to this world. So it isn't about struggling for power, who can dominate the other one, who can use the power to trick, to manipulate, or do all kind of things like that. It's understanding that you cannot do it alone. You cannot do it alone. To bring that child, to have that child, any child that you see walking around, two people help bring them here. Not just you. Not just her, not just him. The two of them together. So this pushes you to understand this complementarity. That there's no need to compete and fight. That you have to understand that each of you need the other one in order to have this life. And this is why getting along is so important. This is why loving each other and respecting each other is so important. This is why every civilization has strived to find a balance where a man and woman could come together to have children together in a harmonious kind of way, where the children will be able to know their parents, where the parents themselves will get along. Things have not been perfect, but I think as long as you remain in a perception where you need to fight with the other person, or where you feel like you have all the power, so you can muster all the power over someone else, that's a distortion. It's not the case. Without this person, you cannot have this child. So it can go back to the video I've made about respect. The father of your child ought to be respected because he is the father of your child. Period. Because without him, that child will not be there. And his contribution to bringing this life cannot be quantified. The same for her. The mother of your child deserved respect. Period. The simple fact that she helped bring this child here requires that you respect her. You cannot love your child as you love it without understanding the respect that comes along towards her mother and the love that the two of you share, even on that nanosecond that brought that amazing child here. The laughter, the joy, the love that this child is bringing to the both of you is a wonderful and amazing energy that is tying the two of you together for the rest of your lives. You can separate from the parent, but you can't separate from the child. And thus, you will be tied as a family forever. Whether you find another partner later on, or the shape of your family changes, or the child is being raised in a different kind of way or in a different context, that bond is never broken. This explains why children who have been adopted some of them spend the rest of their lives searching for their parents because of that biological natural bond. We've seen this as well with children who were born out of donor eggs or sperm banks and so forth and so on. Some of them wonder who they are. They search for that biological bond to answer certain questions about themselves, about their identity, about where they come from, about what their parents were like. This is why even children that are not aware that they were adopted may even have those questions about their identity, about feeling like they don't quite fit in the family where they are, or that they don't recognize themselves in their parents or in some of their siblings and what have you. But essentially, the message here is to not view the relationship between men and women as some power struggle, as many would want you to do, which are going to be constantly competing against one another, instead of realizing that each of you has half of the puzzle, but only half. You need the other person to make this whole and have a child come through. And I think it's a beautiful thing because it humbles you at the same time. It enables you to realize that, however powerful you are as a woman or as a man individually, in your wholeness, you achieve a greater, you only achieve the power of bringing life when you come together with someone else to bring it. And I think that's humbling, but it's also amazing to realize, because you realize that this ability to bring life is a divine gift, and when you come with somebody else to do it, you guys participate in that divine energy. And this is not to say that people who can have children or who don't want the children don't have this ability as well, because you can still come with someone else and raise a child that's already here. And that divine energy is still going to be present when you two of you come together to provide that love, that nurturing, that understanding, that discipline also to a child that needs it, and to a child that will love you 1,000 times in return. So to you, young man, I think it's just amazing. I do hope that you continue on this path and that you continue to work on yourself, improve yourself, and not let the disillusion of the other adult who may have made many mistakes and who may not feel fulfilled inside or full inside get to you. I hope that you maintain your pureness in terms of remaining a truth seeker at heart, searching for the truth, upholding the truth, being a man of honor as you grow up, that you value your words, that you do not make promises that you cannot fulfill, that you are careful with your words, that you treat women around you with respect and dignity and love, that you exalt to achieve greatness in everything that you put your mind to do, that your goal on a daily basis is just doing your best, taking the time to love your parents, honor your parents, your sisters, your family, and continue on the path that you are. I couldn't be more proud of your way of thinking. I could not be more proud and amazed by everything that you've done so far. And I know only great things will come out of you and from you. So I really thank you for sending me this question. And of course, anyone else, if you do have suggestions or something to add to this, just please leave it in the comments. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.